Maraga. Let's quickly go back to our reporter, Sophia Wanuna, who was giving us updates before we get back to the discussion here in studio. Sophia, so that petition has been filed. You've talked about some of the issues that Ngunjiri Wambugu says are grounds, enough grounds to remove Justice David Maraga. So what do we expect to see in the next coming days as far as that petition is concerned?
Yes, Kisa, just to quickly also mention, as I tell you what to expect in coming days, is that this is a petition that is purely targeting or is geared towards achieving removal of the Chief Justice. And when asked why it is they just went for the Chief Justice, and yet this was a decision of 4 Supreme Court judges, because they're saying that at the heart of this is that ruling, which is what Ngunjiri Wambugu was saying, that in essence just shows that capture of the judiciary. And they said that the Chief Justice allegedly intimidated, coerced the other 3 judges who ruled to annul the election. So quite a number of allegations here, tying in several civil society organizations, talking about it's a really conspiracy that he alleges is going on at the judiciary. And let me read for our viewers, Akisa, very quickly the conclusion of this particular petition, because he says that they are also looking at what happened in Ukraine, where in fact a Supreme Court overturned the decision of an election, rather a presidential election. And what happened is that after the fresh election, which we're going to be having, is it went again and was overturned by that court, and that they fear that kind of a scenario would play out here. However, the last point he makes in this 14-page petition is, in view of the foregoing, I request an opportunity to present my evidence before the Judicial Service Commission at the earliest opportunity. So, Akisa, you must also note that the Judicial Service Commission is chaired by that very Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, David Maraga. So perhaps it would then follow that if, in fact, they consider this matter, he would recuse himself, as he's the subject of discussion and consideration. The team, JSC, had 11 members, but remember Winnie Gushu, who was the deputy chief agent for President Kenyatta, who was a member of JSC, resigned so that she could just do her work at that political aspect. The other members of the JSC, who this petition may be coming for consideration, is a deputy chief justice, Philomena Mwilu, replacing the former member from the Supreme Court that was a member of the JSC, that's Smokin Wanjala. Then you also have Judge Orsame from the Court of Appeal. From the High Court, you have Judge Ominde. Then there's Gideon Muigai, who's the Attorney General. Professor Kobia, representing the PSC. You also have Bet Ojenda, and as well as Mercy Dacha, the last 2 being members of the LSK representatives in the Judicial Service Commission. So what we understand in brief, Akisa, will happen is that when this petition is presented to them, a committee will be formed to look at whether it meets the threshold of a petition that should be considered by the Judicial Service Commission. Once they find that, they'll write a report saying that these are the critical issues that have been raised, and these are perhaps the areas in terms of law and the mandate of the JSC that this matter can be considered. Thereafter, it will be considered by the tribunal, and after consideration, if they agree with the petitioner, they could then, they write to the president and ask him to form a tribunal. The president then appoints a tribunal to canvass the issue and come up with a decision. If they find that it lacks merit, it will be dismissed, Akisa.
All right, Sophia.